to KQEG and Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, fitness, introduce you to some guests throughout the greater La Crosse community. Well, the spotlight shines brightly during this holiday season on Crosse Central Girls Basketball. One of our favorites, as you know, breaking all kinds of records being on the show, that's Nahmie George, along with Sophie Leinfelder and Abbie Athnos. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Head basketball and head softball coach during the off season, named head softball coach. Hard decision to make?
Yeah, it was. You know, being a head coach, there's a lot of responsibility and it takes a lot of time. And I had to make sure that I could be, I could be 100% for both programs. I didn't want to be the basketball coach that's also coaching softball or the softball coach that's also coaching basketball. I had to make sure that I could give my time to both programs and be fully committed to both. And so obviously I had to talk with my wife and my family and make sure that this was something we were all okay with. And my wife said we can give it a try. So kind of a year-to-year basis. We'll see how it goes. But
then balancing that in with a full-time teaching job. Whoa.
Yeah.
A lot on the plate.
There is, yeah. And you know, the teaching is my main job, and that's what I get paid to do. So the coaching is kind of a side thing. The teaching is what I spend most of my time on, preparing and making sure my students are successful.
Speaking of academics, not only are our guests tremendous athletes, but academics is a strength of yours, Sophie. Talk about that.
Yeah, I really strive to be the best in the classroom before on the court. The word student-athlete, student comes first, so I make sure that I get all my schoolwork done before I worry too much about practices.
Is that hard to do? Because, as our viewers perhaps know, you're a two-sport athlete and three-sport.
Right.
Three-sport athlete. Cross country, basketball, track and field.
Mm-hmm.
So I've watched you compete as a runner, too. And to balance all of that, not easy?
No, not easy. There's a lot of long nights and early mornings, so it's tiring, but I find it really rewarding, and I like being busy, so. Student
of the Month, Athlete of the Month, and academic standout. That's the kind of athletes that people look up to, being able to balance that. But Abbie, you don't take a backseat to any of that because you have achieved the same level of success on the court, in the classroom.
Yeah, just like Sophie said, I definitely put my academics first. It's really important to me to be the best that I can in the classroom. Ever since I was younger, I've always strived to be the best. With all my schoolwork, especially with college coming up, I wanted to put myself high to give myself a good chance to going where I want to go to college. And just giving myself the best opportunities in life.
You know, a lot of young people probably don't understand that if you do not get those grades and the academics to a high standard, you will not be accepted into a four-year college.
No, if you don't put in the work, especially starting freshman year, you can't have any time to just slack off. You need to be at your 100% all the time to be able to be accepted, because there's so many people that are trying to go to certain colleges that they can't accept everyone, so they look at who has been working the hardest in the classroom.
One thing I admire about the Central Red Raider girls basketball program, Coach Nahmie George, is the fact that there's another component besides teaching skills and so on that is a big part of what you're teaching, and that's community service.
Yeah, so you know, you heard the girls talk about academics, and that's a big part of what we talk about. But then the other part that we talk about is community service, reaching out in our community and doing things that we can do to help the greater La Crosse area. And so one example of that is coming up next week with our third annual Riverfront Holiday Basketball Camp. And so we'll be having some visitors from Riverfront come into our gym. They're going to spend an hour or two with us, and we're going to be just playing different basketball games with them and just interacting and enjoying each other's company. We had talked with the Riverfront people earlier this year, and we thought maybe we'd give it a year off and maybe not do one this year. And Riverfront called me last week and said our participants really want to have a camp, so we better put something together. And so we decided we better have it, and you know, to see the excitement and the joy on the faces of our visitors when we do stuff like that really makes it all worth it. Also gives our girls a chance to be put in a leadership role and kind of a chance for them to give back as well. So it's really a rewarding experience for us as a program.
Rewarding indeed. I've been involved in Riverfront as a board member and as a sister who's special needs, been at Riverfront for several years, but a lot of people don't get that exposure to servant leadership at a young age. Sophie, what's your biggest takeaway from that experience?
It's very rewarding and exciting to see how happy they get. If we could be their only interaction all day or even all week, so it's really exciting to be a part of their life and make them make their day better.
Rewarding for you, Abbie, but even more rewarding and special for those people from Riverfront.
That's right. It's so heartwarming just to see how happy they get. They make one shot, and it's like the highlight of their day. We have this one guy that comes in. He plays for the Special Olympics team there. He shoots half-court shots almost the whole time he's there, and he makes basically all of them, and it makes him so happy. He's just running around with the biggest smile on his face, and that is what puts a smile on my face, too.
As we taped the show, Coach, we had just finished broadcasting your game against Onalaska, a tale of two halves. First half, you were right with them. Second half, they changed their strategy a little bit. You had tremendous game plan strategy going in. And then they changed it a little bit and kind of caught you perhaps a little off guard and had a surge and put the game away.
Yeah, we came out in the first half with our game plan. We executed our game plan really well. We threw some different defense at them to try and make them uncomfortable. We had Abbie guarding Taylor Stutley, who, in my opinion, is one of the best players in the entire area, maybe in the entire state. And Abbie did a really nice job on Taylor. And we had them kind of right where we wanted them there in the first half. We were executing, and we kind of had some of the momentum going our way. Came out of the halftime break, and we were hoping to continue the kind of same thing, and they put a trap on us and got us into some uncomfortable situations in the backcourt, and we made some turnovers, and they scored a bunch of quick baskets, and we weren't really able to overcome that. Once we settled down and were able to run our press break effectively, the press didn't bother us anymore. The problem was they had already done their damage, and we were never able to really overcome that.
And what'd you say to your team after that loss?
Yeah, we talk all the time about it being this sport being a marathon and not a sprint, and we're going to have ups and downs along the way. And as long as we're getting better each game, as long as we're getting better each practice, we have to be happy with what we're doing. And we're 0-6, and the record is what it is. But in each one of those games, I feel like we're making improvements and we're getting to where we need to be. I told them in the locker room afterwards that I felt bad for them because I thought that we did a lot of really good things, and I thought we put ourselves in a position to win the game, and I wanted them to get the reward of winning that game, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But I also told them we got to keep our heads up because we have a lot more games coming up, and we can't be hanging our heads at anything. We just got to keep on plugging away, and that's one of the strengths of this team, I think, is they just keep on swinging, and people knock them down, and we've went through some struggles, and we're 0-6, and they just keep on fighting, and they just keep on coming all night long.
And Sophie, I could see that in you, that resolve, that determination, not dropping your head. You're a leader, like a quarterback is in football, as a point guard, and so the spotlight is on you perhaps more than any other player. Because I was a point guard, and I know how difficult that is, and you've been on the varsity since freshman, so there's pressure in your position. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I feel a little pressure, but I really think that I'm equal to the rest of my team. I don't really think of myself as being greater. I don't like having that attitude of being one of the better ones. I like to think of myself as equal and that I need to strive to be one of the better ones. So it's tough to think about, but I try not to.
And Abbie, I watched you play, of course, more than just the game we broadcast against Onalaska, and your strategy and your box and one and different gimmick defenses. And you were, as Coach said, you had the assignment of guarding Stutley, and you did very well. Your skill set is in the paint, and your skill set is rebounding, and your skill set is defense, and your skill set will be offense starting tonight as we broadcast this show on the heels of playing Toma tonight. And you probably set a record tonight with your offense. But how do you feel about your game so far in the early season?
I mean, there's always room to get better. I've been working really hard, so that part's there. I know talent-wise it'll come along the way, getting into it. But yeah, I'm just going to keep working hard to practice.
Are you comfortable with what you've done so far in the early season?
Yeah, I'm comfortable. I mean, as the season progresses, I hope to be doing even better than I am now, but I'm okay with where I'm at right now.
Good. Glad to hear that. Well, we're going to step aside for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Central Girls Basketball right after this.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
Well, I was very nearsighted. I couldn't see 3 feet in front of me without things being blurry, so I had to wear glasses.
We screen patients. We try to make sure that they're appropriate candidates for LASIK, that their prescription is within the range, that it's reasonable to do it, that they have a good understanding of what they can expect, that they have a good understanding of what the benefits are and what the risks are.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports again today. The spotlight on Central Red Raider Girls Basketball. Nahmie George, one of our favorites, been on the show a record number of times, along with Sophie Leinfelder and senior Abbie Athnos. Well, talk a little bit about the Mvc Race this year. You know, you're struggling, but you're improving. But what are we going to see in the Mvc?
Wow, you know, the MVC is as strong as I think it's ever been. Aquinas, obviously, very, very, very talented. Good team. Onalaska coming off a state tournament run and returning most of their players, so they're very, very good. Holman is a team that I think is kind of getting overlooked a little bit, and they're very good. They have both Kendra Lease and Brooklyn Paulson, who are phenomenal players. And so, and then you got, you know, Toma and Sparta, which are never easy games. And, you know, Toma, very physical. They're long and lanky. That's going to be a challenge for us tonight. And Logan is improving and has a lot of good young players. So I think the MVC this year is one of those years where there is no night off. There is no easy win. Every game that is played is going to be every game that's won is going to be earned. And that's just where we're at with our conference.
Sophie Leinfelder, junior point guard. Here's what Coach Nahmie George says about you. You're off to a great start during the season, 3 years on the varsity, and one of the leading scorers, and he's expecting big things out of point guard Sophie Leinfelder. How do you feel about that?
Obviously the season didn't start out how we wanted it to, but we've really been working hard to like make it turn around, change better for the better, and I'm really gonna live up to that and live up to the fact that he wants me to step up this year, and I'm gonna do my best to play for my team.
Something tells me that Sophie Leinfelder is hard on herself in the classroom, on the court, in life. Are you?
Yes, very hard on myself.
Too hard?
I think at times, yes, because I get mad at myself for little things that really didn't end up being a big problem in the end. So,
I can relate to that because that's my personality. But a lot of successful athletes, I'm not putting myself in that place, but a lot of successful athletes are extremely hard on themselves. And it's not easy to overcome that, is it?
No. I try not to let it show too much on the court, and I try and like keep it in, but whenever I mess up or something on the court, my head might start going down and stuff, and I always try and remind myself to pick it back up, that it's going to be all right. And when you have that negative attitude about being hard on yourself, and when you think that you're doing bad, then you're going to continue to play bad. So I've been really focusing on getting over that this season.
Senior Abbie Athnos, Coach Nahmie George says a real hard worker, one of our leading workers in terms of demonstrating what it takes to become a good athlete, and often given the task of guarding the best player on the other team. Is that your strength?
Yeah, my defense is probably stronger than offense, I would say. I really strive to play the hardest defense I can. Rebounding is one of my strengths. They always preach to us that we do not want the other team to get offensive rebounds, so I really work hard to box out every possession and not let them get the rebound.
Coach, I've been around teams, and I'm sure you have too, that you've achieved the pinnacle of success, but the journey has not been enjoyable. Drama, a variety of reasons. Coach Dick Bennett says he wants to be involved with a team. His goal is to always coach a team that enjoys the journey with him, even though they don't have success.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things about this team that people don't get to see. We get all caught up in the wins and the losses, but this is a team that every single day they come in and they work hard for me. They give me everything they got. In games, they leave it all out on the floor for me, and we haven't had any drama, any fighting. They get along with each other. They're respectful, and as a coach, what more can I ask for? I mean, we're 0-6, and people might look at that from the outside and say that that's a failure of a season. And I honestly don't believe that we're failing this season. I think we're growing, and we're growing together, and we're enjoying the journey.
Jay Billis talks about being tough. Now, tough does not mean physically tough necessarily. A part of it may be drawing charges and being tough on defense, but being tough mentally. Being tough in terms of handling praise and handling criticism. Are you tough, Sophie?
Yeah, I'd consider myself tough. I also feel like the tough comes from when people are telling our team how we're 0-6, and when they say negative things, that we all keep our head high because we know that we're getting better every game. I'd say I'm tough because I don't let people get to me that much. I'm hard on myself, but when it comes to other people talking about things that I do, I don't really take it to heart. So
you're strong, but Coach Knight says the mental is to the physical as 4 is to 1. It's 4 times more important to be mentally tough than perhaps physically tough. React to that, please.
I agree with that, especially when it comes to confidence. You can have the greatest talent in the world, but if you're not confident, that'll play a big toll on you. I think that just what you're thinking is really important when it comes to the game. And like what she said, when people, especially with us, when we're 0-6, people will give us a hard time about it and be like, oh, you haven't won a game yet. But it's we just let that go and just continue working hard because we know that we're working hard, and they don't see us at practice working hard, so they don't know what work we're putting in.
If I asked your team to describe you, Abbie, what would they say?
I'm responsible, determined.
Those 2 words?
Mm-hmm.
What would they say about you, Sophie?
A leader, determined.
Good. Would you agree with that, Coach?
I would. Yeah, they're both very determined, and Abbie didn't say leader, but Abbie's a leader for us too. She's not a vocal leader. She's not someone that's going to be in the locker room doing the you-rah-rah stuff. She's a leader in the way she approaches practice, the way she approaches game preparation, and that's something that is valuable to us.
How have you changed your coaching style in the 6 years you've been the head coach?
I think I've mellowed out a little bit as time has gone on. I hope, my first couple of years, I just remember lots of screaming at officials and getting out of control. I've really worked on that part of myself, trying to be a little bit more under control. And I went to a coaching conference where they were talking about how can you be screaming at the girls out on the court to relax. You're the one screaming at them. You're screaming relax is kind of an oxymoron. If you're going to have your girls be relaxed and under control, then you yourself need to be relaxed and under control. And that was something that really stuck with me, and I'm trying to show that a little bit more as I continue on my coaching career.
But despite your competitive juices,
yeah.
So a lot of people that aren't in that arena, they don't probably understand that, but that's not easy, is it?
Constant struggle. That's a constant struggle within, trying to find that balance.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that you're better with officials. You're looking at an official that...
I was never hard on you, though, Terry.
I don't know about that one, but rapid fire drill, Sophie. What would you say would be your favorite athlete?
Favorite athlete?
Any sport.
Any sport, okay. I think I can't pick out one, but runners in general, I think, are some of the toughest athletes out there.
I can help you with an Olympic athlete that I know pretty well. Her name is Emma Colburn.
Sure, yeah, I know.
You kind of look a little bit like her. So she's got some skills.
Right.
You probably heard of her, haven't you? Mm-hmm. So role models.
My parents.
Really? And favorite class?
Math.
Favorite teacher?
Profe Havlicek.
Really?
Really.
Profe?
Mm-hmm.
I think I know who he is. So, how about favorite movie? You ever been to a movie lately?
Yes. I like Nerve. It's newer.
What would we find Sophie on a Sunday afternoon when it's cold and snowy, and what would she be doing? Hobbies, or would you sit around reading a book, or what?
I'd probably try and hang out with some friends and maybe go sledding or something outdoors.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Rapid fire drill for Abbie. Role models.
My sister Courtney.
And because?
She went on to play at the college level in basketball, and so I look up to her for that.
Favorite class?
Math.
Favorite teacher?
Mr. Wilkinson.
Oh, really? Favorite sub?
Come on, that's an easy one.
How about, what do you want them to say about you in 10 years when they say, oh, Abbie Athnos was a player at Crosse Central? What do you want them to say?
She was a hard worker.
And she gave her most every single time. Well, we talked about a journey. We want the best for you this holiday season, and as the games continue to Christmas and to the end of the season, and we wish you the best, and we thank you for being on our show.
Thanks for having us, Terry.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
We'll be back with some basketball highlights right after this.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
I can see. I don't have to wear my glasses for driving, to go to the movies, for reading.
And I think it's a wonderful thing to offer people that freedom and independence of lenses, whether they're contact lenses or glasses, to be able to function every day from the morning to the evening and not think about it.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven River Sports. Well, Rick and Art were at the Chuck D. Fieldhouse on Tuesday for a much anticipated matchup. The Red Hawks from the Cooley Conference versus the very talented Onalaska Hilltoppers from the Mississippi Valley Conference. The team set a frantic pace in the first half that created a neck-bending up and down sort of game. The Hilltoppers made 5 3-pointers in the first half, but Mark Wagner and the Red Hawks were able to keep pace with a barrage of deep shots of their own. The second half belonged to the Hilltoppers as they experienced their experience and their depth took center stage. All-conference performer Tyler Hughes led the way with 21 points, while the front court trio of Jalen Sample and Terrell Stutley, along with Tyler Turf, combined for 23 points. Guards Jalen Zubich and Noah Fredrickson contributed 10 and 12 points respectively. The young Red Hawks were led by a 19-point effort from junior Chris Thompson. Tyler Shearer added 13. Alex Pearson and David Kvisted contributed 11. GET hosts Luther on Thursday, while Onalaska is at Holman for a Friday MVC matchup. Well, Adam and I were also in Onalaska on Tuesday for a Cooley Conference matchup on the girls' side, West Salem and the Luther Knights. A tale of two halves as the young Knights were up to the challenge in the first 18 minutes, trailing by only 1 point at halftime. Then West Salem turned up its intensity in the second half with their full court pressure, creating numerous Luther Knight turnovers. Our player of the game, senior Tiana Sackett, scored a game-high 23 points Haley Gilster and Abbie Niemeyer each had 10. The Knights were led by Alicia Willer with 13 points and Caitlin Kennedy with 9. Alaska Luther hosts Black River Falls on Friday, while the Panthers are at league-leading Westby for a game also on Friday night. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's show. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you have an active and a healthy week ahead. So long from all of us here at 7 Rivers Sports.